Hello, this is mathjazz from Almost Cool. I'm here with the mathemagician,
Hello.
and we are continuing the process of leveling this mountain so that we can put our next build on this site. So, I was just talking to the mathemagician about a problem that I am having with a publishing company. I don't think I've mentioned the name of this company in previous videos, but if I have, I won't right now because I don't want to get on a company's bad side. But the university where we work has it set up that the class that I'm teaching this term has all of its homework done via a book publishing website. And so at the beginning of the semester, I was told by the department to send in an application to apply for an instructor position with this publishing company. And that would allow me to have instructor access to the class that my students had their homework in. And like a week into the class, I still didn't have approval. So I talked to the department about this, and they took someone who already had an instructor account with this publisher, had them make a course, and then emailed it to my students so that my students could at least do their homework. And then they said, oh, and just when you get instructor access, then talk to the company and have them put you as the instructor of this course. Well, that was like 3 weeks ago, and I still don't have instructor access to my course. So all of my students can do their homework, but I can't check their grades. I can't change due dates on assignments. If they have a question on a problem, like I can't see the problem that they have. They can tell me what the problem is, but I can't see it in the program, and that's a bad thing.
Yep.
So anyway, I finally got a customer service rep from this company. I emailed them, and they emailed me back, and I said, so what's going on? I applied 3 weeks ago, and I still don't have access. And I said in the email, at this point, should I send another application in, or would that reset my status? I figured that was a nice way of putting it. You know, would it reset the process and mess up my application? And the person said, oh, it appears we have lost your application, and if you could please put a new one in, I'll look for it on our system and expedite it. Well, that was Friday that he got back to me with that, so I sent in an application, and their service desk is closed. Like, their service desk and their verification people are all closed for the weekend, so I'll get to hear what happens on Monday. But yeah, so that's an interesting thing. What do you think, Mr. Mathematician?
I think that it's an interesting publishing company. When I taught this class previously, our issue was that a large number of the homework problems that the students had to work on had severe typos in them. So not being able to see the students' problems is particularly like a particular issue here, because they might not be doing it wrong. It might just have a typo.
Here's another thing. So, because I can't change the due dates, and because the professor who he graciously used his account to set up a course for my students, did not want to set the due dates. All of the homework is due at the end of the semester,
Oh,
and I'm supposed to change that. But I can't.
Yeah.
Where's the cobblestone chest?
Over here. Yep.
Is it a cobblestone tower of chests?
No, but there's. I think those two are the only two cobblestones.
Where do I put the explosives?
Over this, where it says redstone.
Ah.
Ooh, we're very close.
So, my students ask me in class all the time, so when is the homework really due? And I'm like, it's due when it's due in the syllabus. And, yeah, but you can't change the due date, so when is it really due? And I promise to tell them when I get, oh, I just got shot by something. There it is. But I promised the students that I would not close the homework without telling them ahead of time that I have access.
But see, I would not have. I don't know. I think that's ridiculous on the part of the students. Like, they've been told ahead of time what the due dates are in a syllabus. And if you get access and then assert those dates, like, that's their problem for not doing them on time.
But the thing is that
You're a nicer person than me. Possibly.
you know, you have a good point. I was thinking about how, if I left the due dates as in the syllabus, how would I would have to go through and look at every student's assignments and check when they did them, and that just seems like way too much trouble.
Oh, no, actually, the system does that automatically for you, I think.
Wait, so
if I remember correctly.
So if I take an assignment and move the due date up, then students that did it after the due date are now counted late?
I think it will identify which ones did it after the due date. I don't know if it'll automatically deduct the points, but it should at least highlight them.
Okay, so say that there was an assignment that on January 10th, I declared this assignment was due on January 1st. All of the students that did it after January 1st would get marked, and I'd see which ones did them after that.
I believe so, if I remember correctly.
Huh, that's more sophisticated than I thought it was.
I might be misremembering. It is possible, but there was something to that effect, where you could easily identify people who did their assignment within a certain window.
Okay. Oh, I was wondering, do you still have midterms for that class somewhere?
I have no idea. I don't think so. I don't... where would they be? If they were somewhere, it would be on my office computer, which, despite me setting up a remote desktop previously, I can no longer access.
Oh, that's because they upgraded the operating system.
Okay.
So, or maybe they turned it off. Anyway, the CSRs did some stuff to our office computers recently, and I didn't even think that it would affect you. But I can go turn it on. Whoa. That was...
Lag?
No, there was no lag. It was just, it picked up a sword and hit me with it. Hard.
Were you able to obtain the remainder of your items?
I
Oh,
think so.
apparently I looked at an Enderman.
It's daytime, so you should be fine.
No, he's charging after me.
Oh.
He was. I don't know where he's gone. Oh.
Yeah, they don't tend to do anything when it's daylight.
Okay.
So, I think this was before the episode started, but you and I were talking about TNT being weaker than it should be. At least I think it's
Yeah.
weaker than it should be.
Maybe.
Ah, ich habe es gesehen.
What's that mean?
I have seen it. There's the Enderman you were talking about,
Oh, yes.
I think. Are you hiding from it?
No, he doesn't seem to be aggroed on me, so.
Yeah, they don't seem to care very much what happens in the daylight. I guess I only need... No, I'll have to level out all the way to the edge because we don't want to have our building underneath the ground next to it. I'm gonna just level up to the redstone line for now.
Okay.
So how is work going in Sandia?
That's pretty well.
I guess it'd be at Sandia, right?
Well, I mean, it does take place inside a building, so probably say in. But it seems to go well.
That's good. Finding your research worthwhile, fulfilling, challenging.
So much computer programming. Ugh.
I don't know if you've told everyone the names of the programs you're writing on the episodes. For all of you viewers, I think that the Mathemagician is very clever with his names for his programs.
Funny.
So, are you allowed to talk about the programs you're using and writing?
I don't know that I can describe what they do, but I'm sure I can at least say what their names are.
Okay.
So the thing to keep in mind is that it has something to do with geology. So we're like, what are... And a lot of programs that deal with what I'm researching, they tend to be named after Greek myths. So we thought, what's a Greek myth that deals with being underground? You know, there's this story of a girl who wanders into the underworld and eventually meets Hades and falls in love with him and gets stuck there forever. So the main program is Persephone, and when you run Persephone, one of the first things she does is call another program called Hades, who runs and fetches her all of the data that she needs to function. So he feeds her. And we were having a little bit of fun. So Hades, he produces these files that are called pomegranate files now. Because again, in the story, that's what Persephone ate. So Hades runs off and he gathers all of the files that Persephone needs and gives them to her as pomegranates. And then when she's all done, we have a messenger program whose job it is to take all of the things that Persephone creates and make them into a user-friendly format. So that program is called Hermes because he was the messenger god.
And see, isn't that cool? I think it's clever. It's way better than the algebra people coming up with naming their program Magma.
But remind me, why did they call it magma?
I don't know. But I mean, there's some sort of pseudo group that's called a magma, and they named it after that. It's like a binary operation that, I don't know, doesn't necessarily have an identity, isn't necessarily associative, and doesn't have inverses. You know, it's like completely worthless object, I think.
Well, and why is that object called a magma?
I was told it's because, like magma, it has no properties solidified. But that sounds like it was named, like, it was an explanation for the name after the fact, to me. I don't know. Maybe we're gonna have some person that studies algebra listen to this episode and get really offended.
Well, they should just, in the comments, tell us why it's named magma.
And then
And if
start
they can't-
studying topology.
Yeah. And if they can't tell us why it's called magma, then they can't be offended because we're right. Well, I suppose they could be offended, but they ought not be offended.
I don't know if I've been this openly hostile to algebra in an episode before.
Well, we know you've wanted to.
Yeah.
At least I did.
So, there are different branches of mathematics, and algebra is the bad one, all of you YouTube listeners. And you're not gonna disagree with me?
It's not a false statement as far as I'm concerned.
No. That's 2 votes for naming algebra the worst branch of mathematics, and no votes against.
I suppose number theory.
Number theory is at least kind of cute, you know? Like, a lot of number theory problems can at least be stated relatively shortly. You know? We want to prove something about prime numbers. And this is the thing we want to prove about prime numbers. You know, like, the difference between number theory and algebra is that algebra has just as weird and bizarre methods for proving its statements as number theory does, but it compounds that with the objects you're dealing with are weird to the point where you can't really describe them to non-mathematicians, you know? Like, you can explain what a manifold is to a non-mathematician pretty quickly, you know? Topological objects, even the really weird ones, you can still kind of describe to someone outside of math, and the person will go, "Oh, okay, like, it's weird and it's hard, but I can kind of see why that's interesting." Whereas, with algebra, it's like, how do you even describe what the monster group is? Or, you know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
I mean, groups are pretty simple things in the world of algebra, but even then, like, making statements about properties of groups is still hard if you're trying to explain it to a layperson. Oh, so I don't know if I've said this on the episodes either, but I am taking a waltz class. That's kind of cool.
Fun.
Oh, and actually, that is all we have to say about that because we are out of time for the episode. But in the next class, I'll talk about my waltz class and how it's going. So, see you later, YouTube land.
Ciao.
Bye.